As a younger person, very fun-loving, had a great sense of humour, wicked sense of humour. He loved cars, always did, and it was interesting to see from an early age when he was in the RAF to when he died, how he progressed from style of car, class of car, speed of car. I know Frisky was definitely his favourite and the one he loved the most. Frisky arrived, I think it was 1991, yeah, and to be fair, I didn't know a great deal about it. I was obviously busy bringing up the kids and working full time, but Mum and Dad used to go out. They joined the local MG car club and they would go out on local rallies, local drives down the country lanes, to shows. They did a long trip to Cornwall. I'm not sure Mum was that keen. She much preferred the BMW saloon as it was dry and warm. But she suffered from the cold, so a low-slung sports car with no roof was probably one of the reasons why she wasn't so keen. But she did tolerate it, and she liked the social side. And obviously wherever you go in Frisky, you grab attention. Everybody wants to talk to you, everybody wants to know her history. And I think that's one of the things that Dodo loved and admired about her, was her history and character. She's got such character. He used to go on expeditions with his friend Dennis, and you'll probably ask me where did they go. Unfortunately, I can't remember. It is quite a long time ago. But Dennis perhaps is the best person to ask on that. And he took great pride in the chrome on the car, I have to say. He would spend hours polishing the wheels, and I know the radiator's different now, but it had a different radiator then as well. And I do remember one occasion when, unfortunately, she had been wrapped up in a blanket in the garage for quite a few years, and the mice got in and ate the back along the back of the seats, just over the back there, and he was devastated. And when he used to drive her, as I think I may have said before, you become part of the car. The car responds to your actions and reactions. It's not like a modern car where you get in and you don't even need a key sometimes these days, and you just drive. You don't even have to change gear. With Frisky, you have a key and hope it works when you turn it. You have a gearbox, which can be extremely temperamental, obviously, but you have to drive it, you have to feel it, and you have to love it, and that's what he used to enjoy about it most. It was escapism for him. Foot to the floor, roof down if he could, flat, and away he'd go. When Dodo died, it was very dramatic, obviously. He never did anything without being dramatic, my dad. Going through the things in the house after he died was quite an eye-opener. Having seen Frisky over the decades, it's quite interesting to see how it changed my dad's and mum's life, and how it changed my life to a degree, and how it has changed Charlie's life. When it comes to Charlie, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword occasionally. I get quite cross with Frisky because she has brought a lot of angst in some respects since she's passed to Charlie's hands, but she's also brought a lot of joy and a lot of pleasure, and I think she has given Charlie a career path on something totally different from what she was doing before. It's given her an avenue to talk to people, to travel, and to write what she wants to write about. So yeah, she's really come up trumps this time, and in this generation. Perhaps she passed me by a bit on my generation, but now she's coming to the fore again. I do worry when she's out there driving. I dread to think what speeds, in what conditions, and with who sometimes. But generally, she has turned her life into something I would like to think is a big positive that actually Dad would be extremely proud. Well, I know he's extremely proud of, and very pleased. It's like it's an inheritance that has gone now through three, from Dad to me to Charlie, and is being reborn and is really coming into her own again. after so many years of just sitting. She's a car that needs to be driven, not stood in a garage. And all right, she's got lumps and bumps and scratches on her now, but that's part of her history and part of being a car. You can't travel a journey without getting some sort of damage along the way. It's a bit like life, isn't it? So one of the first long trips that Charlie and I did in Frisky was the hottest 4 days of the first summer after Dodo died, and we took a trip out to Wales. We went to the Black Mountains, where there is a road that's particularly good for driving and quite fast across, which we obviously did. We went across the Black Mountains towards Pen y Fan one evening, and the sun was coming down and it was hot and it was just fabulous. And we really felt very close to Dodo that night. It was a very special night, particularly when the firemen arrived. They were beating on the moors because there'd been a lot of fires, but they arrived in their huge tender and then proceeded to want their photos taken with this little tender, which was great. We met some bikers up there who obviously always want a conversation if a machine is involved. It was an interesting trip for Charlie. I think it was the first time, unfortunately, she'd been really frightened in the car. On the way back, because it was so hot, poor old Frisky overheated. And I remember one particular occasion we were trying to go up a hill and there was this huge lorry coming up behind us and we just couldn't get into gear. I'm frantically waving to stop, and obviously the driver didn't know what the hell was going on. He did manage to stop, thankfully, and we did manage to get into gear, but it sure did make everybody sweat, including the car. So I have driven her, I did drive her. Particularly I remember the route going from Royston. There's a particular straight open road where you really can put your foot down, going out towards Barkway, which was a favourite run of Dad's, which I did a few times with him and without him, which was even more terrifying. And I think Charlie now does that same route, which is quite poignant because it is obviously near to where he used to live as well, and it's like down the generations are now running along the same piece of road, which is quite something. As far as Charlie's concerned, Frisky has obviously turned her life upside down. So yeah, that's Frisky, isn't it?
Struggling to get in, babes.
Not to get in a car. I'm glad I've got short legs. For once, being small has its advantages.
This is the first time you've driven this car in how many years?
Oh, I dread to think.
Yes, Mum. First time. Oh, reverse. Yeehaw! Oh my gosh! Yes! Go on, Mum! Oh, this is sick. Look at the smile on those chops. Hey! What a queen! Just leave me behind. Oh, mega! Yeehaw! Woohoo! Still going, still going. How are you feeling?
Fine.
Fine?
Yes.
Buzzing?
Oh yes.
You're so good. You're like a rally driver.
Takes me
How
back.
did that feel?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's great. And the other thing, the wooden steering wheel, that's lovely. That's a really nice feel to it as well. It was exciting.
Yeah. Do you want to do it again?
No, I won't do it again. No, I don't want to push my luck. But yeah, thanks Dodo. If I could speak to him now, obviously I'd tell him I love him and we miss him desperately every day. But just thanks for the legacy, that everything that he's done for both of us in our lives, and particularly Frisky. apart from anything else. And that is, you know, there was a lot of other things too, but Frisky. Too frisky.
Do your best and strive to excel, and if you don't always achieve it, don't be disheartened or downhearted, because satisfaction can come in other ways.